In today's video of San Cabrillo Zoo, we are adding 3 new animals to our Australia area, being the red-necked wallaby, the red kangaroo, as well as the emu. So without further ado, my friends, thank you so much for stopping by, and let's get started back in San Cabrillo Zoo. Marsupials. Yes, we are building for 2 marsupials. I almost said 3, but emus are not marsupials. That would be wrong. So everyone, welcome back to San Cabrillo Zoo, where we are finishing our Australian area. We still have a few more episodes in here. I'm trying to get them done as fast as possible, but still taking my time with them, making sure that everything is top-notch quality, my friends. So, one of the ideas I had in here, it really wasn't anything that the San Diego Zoo or San Diego Safari Park did. It's really just playing with what I have made so far and creating interesting sight lines. So you can see that we are currently outlining our habitat right now with that same rock technique that I kind of started earlier. Just using those cladding pieces, and then from those cladding pieces, we can start to really orient ourselves pretty well with it. I don't know. I'm so excited. It just looks so good. We make like really good looking mud banks with them, so it's just a really awesome technique that, I don't know, I've been falling in love with. It's awesome. So you can see we start to outline that right here. But one of the ideas that I had in here was creating this sight line where from the koala habitat, you could see the koalas in their trees if they ever did climb in Planet Zoo. And then in the background, you could see wallabies, kangaroos, emus, kind of like on this little hillside. I thought that this would be a really awesome way to integrate a few more species into our zoo without having it be too overbearing, without taking up too much space. We kind of designed this in a perfect circuit to the point where we have this big open area in the middle. And typically, while I would like to keep that open for like, you know, the sake of making it feel a lot more realistic in real life, typically that area would be used for utilities or something else like that. I really didn't want to do that because I still like teetering that line in between realism and what would look good in Planet Zoo. I think that's a super awesome balance to have right there. And I think I did it pretty well in here. You guys let me know if I messed it up. But yeah, we essentially use this little pit in here. We're currently playing around with the terrain to make sure it actually sets right. But just playing around with it, making it feel like it's an organic hillscape. So you have like all the area down there, which we kind of orient ourselves pretty well with a whole wide variety of plants. And then we have this section down here where I use those Oceania nets as a way to kind of create like, you know, oh, the kangaroos can't go back there. They would escape if they did. I don't really know. But essentially just using the rest of the stalactite rocks throughout here as well to give it just a little bit more texture. Really do love the effect that this has with the natural rocks. Really wish we had flexi-color rocks so we could kind of match it to that. But listen, I'm not going to complain about that anymore. It's getting kind of tired. But what I am working on over here is just making sure that these rocks actually feel oriented nicely within the landscape. So I'm trying to make sure that they have like the nice amount of curvage to kind of orient themselves in like a natural way. I don't really know. It's been a while since I've done voiceover, y'all. I'm sorry. But what I'm doing over here is essentially just using like the rest of the faux rocks as a way to create these nice pebbles inside of these mud banks. Really do love this effect, especially with the smaller ones because they have so much more detail. They're just smaller pieces. Really do love how it looks all together, but kind of sinking those in here and just making sure that it feels a lot more natural. And yeah, that's really it. What I essentially do after that is select group by group and kind of change the color of them so that we have just a little bit more of an interesting dynamic going on, wherein as you get further back in the habitat, they're a lot more gray. Let's just say like they're not too weathered over there, so they look a little bit newer. When you get a little bit closer to like, you know, the koala area, they're a lot more weathered because you would get a lot more rain or you'd get a lot more debris on them. I'm not really sure. But you can see I'm doing the outside of the habitat first. That is just as a simple way to help make myself sure that I want this habitat parameters to be exactly where they are. And I did. So it kind of works out perfectly. So I keep adding a few more things in here. I was like, we should probably have like a branching path in here somewhere, just so people could kind of get off the main pathway. So I kind of have that little seating area right back there where guests could kind of sit down and look upon this nice Australian outback area. Oh my gosh, it's great. So adding a few more ridges in here by using those groups that I made before, this is a really awesome technique that I really implore you guys to start trying out in your own zoos. It's just making sure that you're being able to use all the blueprints you have in here to your advantage, because the more blueprints that you use, the less individual pieces you have to spend your time placing, which I think is always so worth it. You can create beautiful habitats by using blueprints, as you guys saw with like my blueprint video. I think that actually passed 10,000 views, so a huge thank you to you guys for that. Really wouldn't be possible without all you viewers at home. It really does warm my heart that, you know, I'm doing very well in terms of YouTube, and it just makes me so happy because you guys enjoy what I put out. It's great. And I enjoy what you guys put out too. Don't think I don't see you guys tagging me everywhere where it's like, oh, inspired by Leaf, San Cabrillo Zoo. I see that. Believe me, I see that stuff, and I cannot be more thankful for you guys, because it's just incredible to see that you guys are like inspired by my own work, because I'm inspired by you too, and it's just this big circle of inspiration. It's great. Now, working on the actual foliage in here, you can see I'm using the buffalo grass as always, really probably my favorite piece in the game right now. The drin grass from before, goodbye. We are saying hello to the buffalo grass. The buffalo grass is an incredible piece, especially because of the 3 varieties as it has. So you can see I'm using all 3 varieties. I'm using the kind of like dry buffalo grass towards the bottom. The parched version, I think I'm getting those confused, but I'm using the yellow version up top as a way to give it a little bit more of like, oh, the rainwater is a little bit better up here. So it has the chance to grow a little bit more. Meanwhile, down below, it's not really that good of an area for soil, so you get a lot more dead pieces of grass down there because they can't live that long. I don't know, I just really enjoy doing stuff like that, and it looks pretty good in the end, so that's kind of what I do. And beyond that, I was like, oh, this habitat needs just so much more. So I pop in here with my faux rock pieces, adding as much little detail as I can. I also use the decals, you'll see that in just a little bit, but even adding the faux rock pieces alone did so much to bump up the habitat. Adding little pebbles in your habitat is incredible. I think I just saw Rudy's little blue penguin habitat build, where he used the egg pieces to make like 3D functional gravel. That is some 4D chess stuff right there. I really love that. It's awesome. So that's something I kind of want to implement once we actually do get to like our Africa rock section, where I'm going to be making like, you know, the classic penguin habitat with like leopard sharks and stuff. I think that's going to be so freaking fun. But for the time being, we're just focusing on Australia, and that's totally fine. Plans for Australia in the future, I really want to do a kiwi house based upon the old kiwi house of San Diego Zoo. Granted, that closed years ago, but my good buddy San has been trying to help me find as much reference as possible of it, and all kiwi houses on the inside are pretty much the same. Like, they're just a dark room, tropical, temperate plants, big glass window, and then you walk out. That's really all kiwi houses are, so I really want to do something like that. And beyond that, we also have the platypus house to do. That's going to be to the right of this habitat. That's why in the cinematics it's going to look kind of boring on the other side, because we haven't really worked on the other side just yet. So we're going to be working on that in a little bit. Beyond that, I also want to do a flying fox habitat, kind of based off of the San Diego Safari Parks one, but instead of being kind of in their general area, it's going to be in the Australia area, and it'll be slightly Australian themed, so I'm very excited to see that come into play. What I'm also doing here, oh my gosh, Caesar gets mentioned again. I'm doing a little technique that I saw Caesar do in his Oceania build, which was use these bark pieces as a path trim. Really awesome idea right there. So I have these all right here, and I double them up on each other just to give it a little bit more extra thickness. I think that helps so much more, so that's kind of what I do, and hey, it works, so I'm super happy with that. But yeah, You'll see me doing a little bit of path trim throughout here. I try not to show you guys the entire bits of path trim because I can understand it gets a little tedious at some points. You guys probably just want to know, oh, he's making custom paths. Let's move on. And I'm kind of the same way. But I stick through it. And that's something you guys should do. Stick through your builds because it's not going to be made if you're just looking at it. If you need inspiration to come to you, just step back for a bit, then come back to your builds. I promise. Inspiration always hits in the weirdest of ways. So you can see I continue it right up to this little area back here, especially that little, I don't know what you call that, kind of like a section, partition for the path. Either way, you can see I am getting started on a little bit of extra trees in here. I really had no vertical focal points in this habitat, which is something I really wanted to implement. So I make these huge eucalyptus trees, and I kind of link them with rope. Not really sure why, I just thought it looked good. So I used the big eucalyptus tree in here, and it fits like a glove once I orient it the right way. Really doesn't take away from much of, like, you know, the views or vistas, so I'm pretty happy with that. Turned out pretty good. So I kind of connect them all with these beautiful pieces of Oceania rope. Really, really awesome pieces right there. And beyond that, just looks really good. And I figured, okay, while we're already over here, we might as well connect some sunshades for our kangaroos, wallabies, and emus to chill out under. I think emus typically like the sun, but kangaroos and wallabies don't really. Sometimes they relatively kind of just hide and cool off under shade, so I've seen. So I want to implement some sunshades down here. So you can see I'm working with these Oceania packs and the rough rope from the tropical pack. Really not sure why these all didn't come together, but listen, as long as you have both packs, it works out perfectly. So that is what I am doing in here, just making sure that these are all connected. And yeah, I'm just super satisfied with this. It was a really awesome tiny detail that really helps add a ton to your zoos. And I changed the color of them too, because while white does look good in here, look too basic. So I wanted to change it out for kind of like an Australian red right there. Kind of like that burnt metal rust kind of look. Really do like it. And I changed out the wood to be white, so it was perfect for these branch wood pieces where kind of looks like it's made out of roots kind of growing into that water bank. Mud bank, really. So I thought that was kind of cool. Did a little bit of a vent fan back here, just as a way to add just a smidgen more detail. And I add a few more of those conservation pack pieces, just as a way to help bring this area up a little bit more and make it feel like it's a real zoo. Adding some more decals in here because, again, I've been watching too much Caesar, so I've been very inspired. I had a little bit of a downspout right there. I didn't actually build my gutters yet, but I'll be doing that relatively soon. And yeah, just decorating the rest of the area back there, making sure that it feels a little bit more naturally integrated into the rest of the area. And just trying to figure out what else to do in here. I really, really love these Australian bins. So I have a few of these all around the Australia section now. And again, that area was feeling kind of lacking, so I kind of put one of those cabbage trees, or a few of them actually, right in there. And I was like, we have none of these in here, and they're a fantastic piece, so I wanted to add a few more. Adding the coastal pig face right over there, hell of a name right there too. And I just thought that looked pretty good. And copying these pillars I made from before into this little section up here, just to bring in a little bit more color, it was feeling a little bit boring, so I really just wanted to upgrade it a smidgen more. And you can see me start to do just a little bit more pathways, custom curbing. And that's really all that I do, I believe. And then without further ado, we're going to be into the cinematics. So before we actually do that, I want to thank you guys so much for bearing with me as of late. Castaway Cay Zoo is finally done, so I am gung-ho for, I was about to say Sonora Springs. No, rewind. I'm gung-ho for Castaway Cays, Jesus. San Cabrillo Zoo, I'm back. Hi, I'm Leaf. Gung-ho for San Cabrillo Zoo. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that. We're going to be finishing this Australian area, and I'll have an updated version of the blueprint on the workshop relatively soon once I do finish those other 3 habitats I mentioned before. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy this video, always do consider leaving a like if you can. It's really appreciated, and it really helps to please that algorithm. Thank you guys one last time. See you all in the next video. Take care and goodbye.